We've been talking about mistakes that stackers could make or have made. What would you say is the biggest mistake a new stacker could make right now?
The worst day on Wall Street since the crash of 1987.
We're now down 43%.
This could be the most serious recession in decades.
Protect your retirement with gold and silver IRAs. Learn more at sdbullion.com/IRA.
Well, I see we have some of these milky maples in the, well, it's not really the junk tray, but it's kind of the discount pile here, Harry.
Yeah, basically those will sell at melt or a hair under because, frankly, they're ugly.
Yeah.
And if you put them out with the pretty ones, why would you buy the ugly ones at the same price?
Yeah, well, someone's going to get a good deal on them, though.
Someone will, and they won't be here they'll be gone in the first hour of the shop being open because that's, it is a great deal. It's a full ounce of silver. They're just very unattractive.
A face only a mother could love, right?
Yeah, right. And as you once described in an earlier video, it's a security feature. Those are genuine.
yeah, genuine. Well, at least you're offering a good deal to someone out there, and it is still real silver. I mean, you're still getting an ounce.
Yeah, it is. It's just, we talk about when customers call us about selling us things, we talk about the price we're quoting is for retail-friendly product. If it's pretty, people want it. If it's not, no one's going to want it.
Yeah.
At least not at normal prices.
So it's on sale for a reason.
Yeah, because it's just unattractive.
Well, what would you say is sort of the best deal in the shop? I mean, I guess these are probably the cheapest, but of all the other stuff, we got, junk silver, silver rounds, you got some gold down here we can look at, but what would be the best deal?
Consistently in recent times, the constitutional or junk silver is the best deal on a per ounce basis, and we're trying very hard to keep lots of it in stock because we sell lots of it. Interestingly, we even have mercury dimes in abundance now, which, for a while was just about impossible, but maybe we've overwhelmed the demand with product.
You increased the supply.
We did. Not on purpose. It just, that's what's been coming through the door, and we're very, very grateful because we sell far more mercury dimes than Roosevelt dimes.
Yeah. I do prefer the mercury dimes. We've talked about this in videos, but
yeah.
Either way, you're still getting something that's recognizable. It is silver, and if you need to spend it in the future, you'll be glad you have it, right?
Yeah, and for the viewers who may not have seen an earlier video, or for new subscribers, the mercury dime only came in silver.
Right.
Whereas the Roosevelt dime looks the same now as it did in 1946, so you got to look at the date or the edge to see, is it silver or is it clad? You see a mercury dime, it's done. It's silver. That's one of the reasons it's so popular. And frankly, it's a beautiful design, even when it's very well worn.
Yeah, that is true. Can we take a look at your gold, Harry?
Absolutely.
Wow, I think this might be one of the first times I've come into the shop and it's all U.S. gold. That's all you got.
Except for a lone 10th ounce Krugerrand.
Oh no, I didn't even see it. It was kind of hidden in there with all of the eagles.
These are pretty cool too. It's a little half ounce holder. So it's got 5 American gold eagles. So that makes it pretty cool.
Yeah, I've never seen those holders before. What's the purpose of that? Just to kind of show it off?
It's a display, a way to display them. It's pretty fun to have, 5 of them, and it's divisible gold, and you have it all in one package, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, at 3,000 plus, there's no great deals on gold. I just, admittedly, it's at a price level that none of us saw coming, at least not at, say, a year ago. But now, I think, 3,100 could be just a day or two away, just because it's broken through that psychological barrier of $3,000.
So when it comes to gold, what are the customers wanting to buy? Are they wanting to buy just whatever you have, they don't care, or are they picky?
Extremely picky. If I don't have what they want, we order it for them, or they just don't buy. At this price, no one's going to just settle. In the past, when gold was, say, $1,800 an ounce, they might come in looking for a gold eagle, but I might have Australian kangaroos and be like, yeah, okay, an ounce is an ounce. Well, in the high 2000s and certainly over 3,000, people come in, they want what they want. That's a lot of money to lay out. What I'm finding, and I think Adrian would agree, the vast majority of gold buyers want U.S. gold, eagles or buffaloes.
That's it.
So when we pointed out that 10th ounce Krugerrand earlier, I promise you, if all these 10th ounces go today, this will be the last one left.
Wow. So what's the reason for that? Just because we live in America or what?
Yeah, It's a perception of quality. It's the fact that it's U.S. currency, it's legal tender, it's recognizable. It's not something they have to go home and look up. It's a gold eagle or it's a gold buffalo. And at $3,000, well, with the premium at $3,100 plus for an ounce, they want what they want. What's happening is when people come to sell us world gold like maples or Krugerrands or kangaroos or, frankly, worse yet, bars, we're having to buy those a little back of spot, and most of that's going to the refiner a couple of times a week because they just sit here.
Wow. So the U.S. gold you buy, you put out in the case to sell to other people, but the other stuff just gets melted?
Well, some gets melted. If the refiner also sells that type of coin, say a maple, they're not going to melt it. But for instance, there's two kinds of gold maples. There's 3/9s, the early years, and the 4/9s gold. The 3/9s, they're melting. The 4/9s, they resell. But the point is, people want the U.S. And so between visits to the refiner, I'll put it out. The Krugerrands, the maples, the kangaroos, the Britannias. But what ends up happening almost every time is all or most of it is there on my next visit to the refiner, and I just take it there.
So was that a mistake then for people who bought sort of the world coins or gold bars? I mean, should they have just gone with American stuff?
There was a time when I would say no, it wasn't a mistake, at a time when people would buy what you had. But at a time when people are very particular and want the U.S., it's becoming a mistake. You know, if you're looking to buy now, I know I'm hurting myself by saying this, but I would get U.S. In fact, Costco mostly sells like maples, and they do sell some U.S., but they sell bars. And what happens is they're calling shops like ours after they buy it looking for a quick profit, and are often very disappointed when we tell them we're a little below melt on those. Because they got a good deal at Costco based on the spot price, but if they're looking to do a quick flip, they're going to be very disappointed if they bought the maples or the bars.
So if people are looking to buy gold right now, you recommend go American?
100%, because when you go to sell it, you're going to more than likely get spot for it. You certainly will here. You buy something that's not American, you will not get full spot because it just doesn't sell. And for those who would be critical of me buying it back a spot, bear in mind that when we bring it to the refiner, we're not getting spot for it. We're getting under spot as well.
Yeah, and even when we have it here at the shop, you know, people are even reluctant to sometimes pay spot for it. Don't feel bad if you bought maples or Krugerrands before this run up in gold, because guess what? You're up on that stuff. Your cost per ounce was lower, so you know you're up. So I wouldn't say don't feel bad if you own Krugerrands or maples, but if you're buying right now, I would say what Harry's saying, you know, definitely go with the American Eagles or the Gold Buffalo for sure.
And then what about for sizing? Because we have some 1 ounce and then we also have the 10th ounce. It's going to be a lower premium to get a full ounce of gold, obviously, because it costs a lot less to make one of these than 10 of these. Yes. But what if someone can't afford the whole ounce? Should they go 10th ounce or should they just wait and save up?
If you can hold and save for that 1 ounce of gold, I definitely say, you know, take the time and do that.
The premium is so much different. Adrian's making an important point for everyone, and let's just review the arithmetic.
So yeah, just looking at the premium, you know, the 1/10 ounce, $45 each. That's the premium. So if you add it all up, that's $450, right, Harry?
Yeah, and that's for an ounce. The premium on 10 of those is $450 for an ounce versus $130 for a true ounce, you know, in the form of one coin.
Yeah.
So like Adrian says, if you have the discipline and the ability to save for that ounce, you're better off. And I think I should re-emphasize what Adrian just said too, that don't be angry or too disappointed that where you bring your gold, let's say it's a maple and you get a little less than spot, because most of you have held the gold prior to the big run up, and so you're still way ahead. So it's just that when the dealer has to buy this, you have to have an eye towards what am I gonna do with it? And frankly, at these prices, at over $3,000, owning inventory that doesn't move, like a Krugerrand or a bar, is very, very expensive. I mean, you're thinking about, if I bought 10 Krugerrands from someone, I'm tying up $30,000 for something that I'm pretty certain won't sell.
Well, and if gold keeps going higher, I mean, can you imagine if it goes to 4,000, 5,000? Now you're tying up $50,000 to buy 10 ounces.
Well, I think it's going to do that over time. And for the average dealer, not the big boys out there, but for the average dealer like us, I think you're going to see there's a lot of pressure on us to keep this stuff moving fast.
It also depends on what you're trying to do. Like if you ever think that barter's in our future, the 10th ounces do have a purpose because it's smaller, divisible pieces of gold. So they do carry a premium. It depends what you're doing, but if you can hold out for that 1 ounce, I would say definitely hold out for the 1 ounce gold.
Yeah, and it's just fun to hold the 1 ounce, you know?
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Feels nice in the hand, and you got a whole ounce of gold right there.
Yeah, we even have some early Roman numeral ones that are just, I love those.
Well, what about buying in general right now, Harry? I've heard some people say, you know, the price is going up. I feel like I kind of missed the boat. You know, I wanted to buy, but it just keeps going up. Should they wait and try and time it? Hopefully it drops again, or what should they do?
Well, we've all missed the boat because all you have to do is look back into the past. We've all bought at higher prices than it used to be, whenever that was. In the 1930s, you know, you could get gold for face value, basically a $20 gold piece for $20. So that would have been a really good time to buy. The idea that you've missed something is really irrelevant. What's relevant is that you have a plan, whatever your buying plan is, whatever the ounces and the frequency and your budget allows, without getting in trouble, stick to that plan. The price is not anything you or I can control, but you can control your plan. So if you have a plan to buy, you know, an ounce of gold or silver or whatever the precious metal is at a certain period of time, just stay with it. It'll smooth out the peaks and the valleys of the high and the low prices. It'll keep the average price of your stack more manageable than trying to time the market, which, as Adrian just mentioned a moment ago, is impossible.
Yeah.
You can't time it, and you can't control any of that. And so you just control your plan.
Now, what if someone has a large chunk of money, say they got an inheritance,
Yep.
or maybe they've just been saving up cash for a long period of time, they got a big chunk, and they want to put it into precious metals. Should they do it all at once, or should they wait and do a little bit at a time?
I'd like Adrian's take on this too, but I think dollar cost averaging is the same whether you have it all the money at once or you earn it over a period of time.
Yeah, well, it's funny you mentioned that because we've had a lot of orders, people coming in that are moving properties and they're getting into gold because they're seeing that it's something that's keeping up with inflation and they want to protect that money than just leaving it in a bank account where interest rates are a joke. Definitely what Harry said, it's, you know, one step at a time, one bite at a time. You know, you got to not go completely 100% into gold. It's good to be diversified, but if you have some extra money you can put into silver or gold, I don't think it's a bad idea personally. You know, it's not financial advice, but it's a good idea to be diversified.
So maybe like 10% at a time or a smaller percentage.
Yeah, I mean, just good to have some exposure to it, especially with seeing the prices of gold running up like they have. And, you know, because it's like Harry and I have talked about it before. It's like people, when gold hit 2,000 an ounce, they're like, you know, I'm going to wait for it to drop back down to 1,500 or 1,600. And they're still waiting, They're still waiting. So it's like, I'm not trying to fear people into buying gold, but it's like if you're thinking of getting into gold, you know, once it hits 3,000, it'll fluctuate a little bit above 3,000, maybe a little under 3,000 again. But I don't know how long that's going to be because things are just creeping up.
Yeah.
Think about everything in your current day-to-day life. What has gone down?
Practically nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Everything's gone up. So one step at a time, and time yourself. Don't be in a rush. Don't make any bad decisions where you can hurt yourself. But some exposure to the market is better than no exposure to the market.
I think it's a much better place to be than just in cash.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing that has kind of gone down is cash, really.
But even if you come into a large quantity of cash, maybe an inheritance or your home sold or whatever the reason, you win the lottery. We're always talking about bad news driving the price up, but good news could drive it down. Let's say peace breaks out all over the world. There's peace in Ukraine. There's peace in the Middle East, and the economy's booming, and the banks are paying decent interest. You know, 3,000 gold could become 2,000 gold. And if it did, and you spent all that chunk all at once at 3,000, you definitely didn't dollar cost average. You're not going to be happy with yourself. So I still think a big chunk of money should be fed in over a period of time into any market, be it gold or stocks or real estate.
Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely think dollar cost average, that's what I've been doing for the last 8 years now.
Yeah.
And I just slowly been growing my stack. And yeah, sure, silver's at 33, 34 bucks an ounce, but I remember buying eagles for $17 each.
Sure. You look back on that, and that was a great bargain, but now the eagles are $38 today. That could be a great bargain 2 years from now, but just work your plan.
Even say that silver would have dropped, you'd still be okay, because if you keep it consistent, you're gonna cost average.
And you don't ever lose any money if you just hold on to it forever, right?
Your ounces don't go down, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Well, that's a really good point, isn't it?
yeah, it's the price might fluctuate, but not your ounces.
Yeah, if you're measuring your wealth in ounces and you keep on increasing them, then it'll never go down.
Who cares? If you're putting money into silver or gold, it shouldn't be money that you need to eat, right? It should be money that you're putting away for a rainy day, or just to have some insurance for your money. So if you're doing that, you can't really hurt yourself.
We've been talking about mistakes that stackers could make or have made. What would you say is the biggest mistake a new stacker could make right now?
I think the biggest mistake, let's just talk about silver, is somebody buying premium ounces just because a guy they know at work bought some special issue from some world mint at 3 times the spot price of silver, not even knowing yet what you like as a stacker, just because someone said that's a really cool thing, or you got to get one of these, you got to get 10 tubes of these. We see it, and then you go to sell it because you decide, I really want to stack silver buffalo rounds, and you find out you paid 3 and 4 times the amount you should have paid for an ounce of silver. So my advice would be, until you know what your stack should really look like, until you have your preferences solidified, go with low premium silver, so that when you decide that maybe wasn't the exact thing you wanted, you're going to be at or near your break-even point at any given time.
Another thing that we see some people make mistakes in, they get something in the mail offering them, hey, buy these gold coins or buy these silver coins, or infomercial on TV. I mean, we have people come in and luckily verify, hey, what do you think of this deal? And it's some crazy markup gold or silver, and it's like, do your research, look online, go to your local shops, talk to local dealers, and just say, hey, what do you think of this? Even if you're going to make a purchase online from a commercial that you see, or anything other than going to a shop, just do a little bit of research and talk to people.
If someone solicits you either through a phone call, a boiler room operation, an ad in a magazine, a TV commercial, they're still coming at you with an offer. I would ignore those. We never call people and say, hey, do you want to buy some silver or gold? We're here to be of service, of course, but you should be the instigator of a purchase and an investment that you make. Don't let some slick ad or magazine piece or commercial, or even worse, an on-the-phone salesperson in a boiler room convince you of something you weren't even thinking of to buy that day.
Also, just going with the low premium stuff in general, you're not really going to have the ability to hurt yourself if you're just buying silver rounds at the cheapest price you can. So I think for any new stacker out there, that's a lot of great advice, Harry.
Yeah, I appreciate sharing it, because even we have some high premium silver. For instance, the Mexico Libertads, they're beautiful pieces. If you want one, because you like them, that's great. But if you start stacking Libertads out of the gate, you're just never going to break even on that. I mean, never's a long time, but it's going to take a long time versus buying a buffalo round where you're breaking even almost in the moment.
Well, a lot of great advice, Harry. I really appreciate the time.
Thank you, Silver Dragons.
Thanks a lot, Adrian.
Thank you.